Hey everybody, I managed to steal Jessica to Panna today on this beautiful Saturday. um, Jessica, I thought, with everything going on, I've even found myself in that, with that laptop in my face on my lap at 10 o'clock at night thinking, okay, I've got to optimize my online counseling SEO and all of that stuff that we kind of get into that like, what do I need to do right now thing. And so it made me think that if I'm feeling this way, I know other people are feeling this way. So I really thought that having you on here just to ask the question of what can I do right now that would make the biggest impact in my practice in terms of maybe converting clients over to telehealth, getting more traffic on your website for telehealth. We just want to keep you for, 20 minutes or so and pick your brain as much as possible. So can you kind of just maybe tell us your experience with everything going on right now, and we'll jumpstart that way? Oh, hold on a second. I can't hear you. Hold on. No, hold on.
I'm not going to use the earpods for now because I think
Okay.
but I can call in if I need to. So
Cool. There you go. Well, I can hear you.
perfect. First, I'll start with just telling you what we did in my practice. Let me preface this by saying that my practice already has really good SEO. We already have a lot of trust built up with Google. But when I started hearing that everything going on and realized that we were going to need to make a very quick transition to telehealth, the first thing I thought of is, well, I've never marketed for telehealth. I've done zero. We have 2 therapists that will see someone online if needed, but it's not a general thing that we do. So I reached out to one of my SEO staff and I said, hey, how fast can you write me a telehealth page? And she said, how does tonight sound? And I said, that sounds perfect. Wrote her up a really quick version of a brand script and sent it her way, which of course she then had to add a ton more to make it enough to rank well. And then I reached out to 2 of my therapists and had each of them write a blog, and I wrote a blog. And overnight, within a weekend, we had an online counseling page up and 3 blog posts all around telehealth. We went from not ranking to being on the first couple of pages of Google. The goal, of course, is so that during the stressful time when we're not seeing clients in the office, we're still getting new clients. It might slow down some because fewer people might be prioritizing mental health, but we need to have more people coming in, and people will look for counseling. And so our approach has really been doing exactly that. And that's the prescription. We tested it on our site. It worked really well. And so that is the recommendation I'm making. And we're having a lot of our SEO clients right now following that, coming up with a service page and 3 blog posts. And typically, anytime you're trying to rank for any new service that, be it like trauma therapy or depression therapy, or if you just brought on someone that specializes in postpartum mental health and you've never targeted it, that is my recommendation. 1 service page, 3 blog posts gives Google enough information to say, like, hey, this is a thing that we do, and this is where we're located. Give us some credit for it. And so that's the starting place. Do you want some tips for those pages?
Yes, I do. And I think it's so funny that I wish I would have done my Facebook live in my staff page after this call. But I'm going to post this video in there because that's exactly what I just said to them. And I always feel like they don't believe me. So I have to have like someone that actually knows what they're talking about, validate what I just said. So thank you for saying that. But sure, let's hear the tips for those pages.
Yeah, tell them they got to get on it. There's no ifs, ands, or about it.
Yeah.
And my people like that I'm paying them to write blog posts, so it might not be much, but if your counseling hours are reduced, A, this will help keep them from being reduced, and B, every bit will count. So the first thing is that you want at least 500 words of content. This is not like a hard, fast rule. Some people will tell you at least 300 words of content. There was a study that came out in 2018 that showed that the average page that ranked on the first page of Google had 1,800 words. Now our field is usually okay with, I've been able to get most pages ranking at more like the 500 range. That's why I recommend 500.
And you said that's for the service page?
That's for all of the pages, really.
Okay.
So
Okay.
service and blog posts, of course, a lot of us don't have 500 words like on our home page, but certainly for
Yeah.
the page and the blog posts, you want to use subheadings. I found that most of us underuse subheadings. First of all, think about it. If you have 500 words of text and you have this big, long block of words, I'm sorry, that's really darn boring to read. I don't like looking at that. Most people, especially in younger generations now, have gotten so used to skimming a website that that's what they will do. They will skim the
Yeah.
website and look for the information they need. And so I break it up with subheadings and pictures. That helps with your readability, so the user experience is better. And it helps with Google will assume that any keywords that you put in those subheadings are going to be more important than the words like in the text too, and so it helps from an SEO standpoint. So subheadings with the keywords and the key phrases that you think people are looking for. So not just we want to help you, but our therapists want to help you.
Mm-hmm.
We believe you deserve to feel better. How about our counseling practice believes everyone deserves to live free from depression and anxiety, right?
Using those words that people are going to Google, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
So sometimes it
Okay.
makes it slightly wordier, but the SEO impact is really big.
Okay. Good to know.
You want to make so speaking of telehealth specifically, you want to not say telehealth. I mean, you can say it, but you want to focus more on either online counseling or online therapy, depending on your area of the country. I have yet to find any area of the country where people are looking for telemental health or distance counseling. And I see tons and tons of pages that are telemental health and distance counseling. Throw that on there somewhere. Online counseling, also sometimes referred to as telehealth or telemental health. Throw those words on there, but just know that if you optimize for online counseling, you're just going to get a better return on your investment because more people are looking for that.
Cool.
So I did notice that MindSight says online counseling too.
It does. Yeah, we use telehealth in there. Let me flip over to that screen really quick just for people who are visual, because let me pull it up. I may flip over. I may not. Hold on. I think those are such good points, because it's so simple, but at the same time, like who is doing that? I think a lot of times we're just trying to get something out there and we're not really thinking about exactly what we're looking for. I'm trying to see up here, so online services. So what you're basically saying in terms of mine, based on that feedback, it's a little distorted right now because of the screen. But we would need more words because there's definitely not 500 words on here. We would need probably some better subheadings, I would think.
Go like there where it says our online team, I would say our online therapist or our online therapy team, right?
Yeah.
Therapy in there. If you go down the next one, it says we care. I would say our therapists care.
Yeah. Good point.
Or our counselors care, depending on your area and
Okay.
what people in your area are using. We care about you and your background with therapy. Our mental health professionals care about you and your experience with therapy.
Got it.
People come to counseling only to be disappointed. That's good. That was the word counseling. We want to change that. Our therapists want to change that by offering a client-centered telehealth counseling experience or something.
There you go. Cool.
So even little things like if it might look funny because it might make it too long, but even those buttons that say request an appointment, even if they said request a counseling appointment or start gets the word counseling in there, which are all you don't want the whole page back in like the 90s. You could get a page ranking by like saying like online counseling 100 You can't do that anymore because you don't want it to look fake to Google or like your stuff page. But just looking at where does it make sense to put in the word therapist? Where does it make sense to use the phrase online counseling and varying it? So in some places you do say telehealth, in some you say online counseling, and in some you say therapy sessions held online or something.
Gotcha. Okay.
But finding those natural places where you can put those things in will help give Google more information.
Okay. That's awesome. I mean, that's some information that is so easy for anybody to implement that you just kind of have to be told. I do have to ask this though. So let me find it on my screen because I want to pull it up. Now, the website that we use through our group practice is Wix. So I actually spend more time on my consulting website than I do the Wix website. And the consulting website is through Squarespace. But when I first met you was in Traverse City, and this SEO simplified consulting was not even a thing yet. It was not even a thing. And so I could be wrong, but just as a bystander, kind of sitting back, just observing the situation, I feel like that there were some people that recognized this really amazing talent that you had and kind of brought it up to the surface and encouraged and empowered you to do something with it. And I remember sitting in the library of that, whatever that was, wherever we were.
Cool. We went to boarding
Yeah, we were at boarding school. Yes, the library of boarding school. And you were talking about meta tags and meta descriptions. And I was like, what the hell is she talking about? I had no idea what you were talking about. And so as I've been playing around with my crazy online therapy landing page, I have found where you are supposed to put meta tags in here somewhere.
Yes, right
Somewhere. Where is it? Right here?
there. Yeah, so
No.
that is the slug of your URL. So that's perfect.
Uh-huh.
The term online counseling. And then
Yeah.
below it says what's the page title and search results. So every platform calls these different things. Some of them will call that the SEO title. Some of them will call that some of them will call them the SEO title. Some of them will call it the meta title, whatever. But yeah, no,
Uh-huh.
that was good.
Okay. So I saw this page, this right here, and I swear when I saw it, this where it says custom meta tags, I thought of you. And I thought, what would Jessica say for this? What the heck is a meta tag and what the heck are we supposed to do with one?
Yeah, so the meta tags themselves, that's slightly out of date because keep in mind the SEO world changes constantly. And so the meta tags, and again, like this is based on the last 20 articles I've read that have been the most recent, but the 20 before that were like meta tags were all the rage. But what they're saying
Yeah.
now is that meta tags, Google's paying less attention to. It's paying more attention to that meta title that you showed me, and underneath that was your SEO description or meta description. Or page description, depending on what platform you're on. It could be called any of those things. That Google is now paying more attention to that. What's so interesting to me, I'm like a meta description and a title is like this big like jigsaw puzzle to me because I'm like, how do we write it in a way that like gives Google the information it needs to rank it, but also converts to clients? Because I have had cases where somebody ranks really well, but nobody's clicking on their website because basically your meta description is like online counseling / teletherapy / online therapist in there. Nowhere in there does it say anything that makes you actually want to click on it.
Yeah.
So that's a problem. And so to click through optimization means that we want to write our online therapists will help you find relief from depression and anxiety through online counseling sessions. Learn more today or call now today or something. Not that we always even have room for a call to action, but it needs to both make sense and convince somebody to click on your page as well as having those keywords. And so to me, I love it. It's like we're very data driven. I'm sure aren't surprised by me saying that, but like my staff knows that like if when you go to open a page, we track all of our data. We have something called Brighter Insights that's through Brighter Vision. You do not need a Brighter Vision website to use it, don't worry. But it brings in all your Google Search Console, all your Google Analytics data, and we have a list of keywords we're tracking. No, I do not like get anything for saying that, but we pull it up every day, and so we're looking at multiple things like where do you rank for these keywords? Are people clicking on your website? And when they click on, are they staying on your website? All of these contribute. And quite frankly, Google knows, Google's tracking it. It's giving you the data that Google is tracking, but Google knows it too. And so if people never stay on your website very often, never stay on your website very long, then that's going to affect your rankings too, because Google's like, hey, they come on once and they bounce off. And so you have to keep in mind, I don't know, I love that. That's why I love SEO. I'm like, we are trying to both play the Google game of ranking well and play the client and keep our client experience first, and
Yeah.
where that balance is. And sometimes you swing too far to one end and you have to kind of recorrect, and sometimes you swing too far to the other and you have to kind of reconnect.
Yeah. It's
Recorrect. Sorry.
it's so, I mean, honestly, if I feel like if I wasn't doing 8,000 different things right now, I would love to learn this. I mean, and I would love it. It would probably consume me though, because I would get so obsessed with it. So I know that you do have some training programs, and just, I want to go ahead and put this out there, that I'm hiring Jessica today. So if anyone else signs up for any kind of SEO service, make sure that they come after me, because I'm signing up first. Okay.
Deal. Okay.
But I know you have some training stuff. Yes, yes.
So
Tell us about it.
yeah, so when we started, which you're right, it was like sitting there, I think I had become so obsessive about this, trying to get my own website. It had consumed me for months by the time you and I met. And yes, it was like sitting there, and there was somebody else who was in a much larger city than I was, and we sat down and we did a few pages, and overnight she went from 10th page to first page, and I was like, great, I want to teach everybody the stuff I know. And that's how I thought I would start this business.
Uh-huh.
But what I discovered was a lot of people, it wasn't worth the return on investment time wise. And so they wanted to invest in our done for you services. And let me tell you, like, my staff can do stuff literally overnight, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But right now we are in a unique situation that a lot of people are wanting to invest more of their time. So now I'm like, yay, that training stuff I love to do. So we have a few options. We have a comprehensive course that is the way that I think, and it's like over 4.5 hours of videos, takes you through, literally, I was like just trying to put everything I know on this one course so that somebody could teach themselves all of SEO. But if you're the type that gets overwhelmed, which I've learned is very easily done, we have smaller courses. We have SEO First Steps, which is just keyword research and what content to add to your website, basically. And then we have Moving the SEO Needle course, which is like the 3 next steps: meta descriptions, which we were just talking about, internal links, and backlinks. And so I've tried to really break it down so it's less overwhelming to people, especially when you're just trying to do something quickly. And so, yes, we do offer some online courses, and then I offer one-on-one online trainings as well for people that like to be able to do the screen share type thing, where I edit on the page one session, and then the next one you do while I give you correction.
Okay.
So,
How long does it take you to run a search? Let's say that I wanted to know where my group practice was ranking on Google. What's that process look like?
well, what I usually recommend is a keyword research tool. I've told you which one I use, or not a keyword research tool, a keyword ranking tracking tool. I've told you which one I use because it's cheap, but there are a lot of others out there too. So finding a keyword tracking tool, and you can literally just put in your keywords and they'll run it for you. I used to do it the old-fashioned way. And so this is the free way. If you really don't want to spend $15 a month, here's the free way. I had a Excel sheet, and across the top I had all the keywords I wanted to rank for. So like right now, because of the time, let's use online counseling, right? So online counseling in Missouri, online counseling in Columbia, Missouri, online therapy, Missouri, online therapist, Missouri, right? Like all these keywords, and then the date. And I would go incognito, which if you don't know how to do that, it's real simple. Just search for how to use incognito on Safari or whatever your browser is. And I would just like pull up any, I would just like take incognito search for each of those. And so that took a lot of time. And so I only did it like once a month. Now, what I do is every morning I hop on, I log on, I look at where I rank, and there is a server running those searches every 24 hours for me.
Cool.
So I can see in a day where I rank and how that changes the next day.
Yeah.
Ups and downs, I'm going to tell you, if you are tracking that, don't be too concerned, because some ups and downs is normal every single day. I don't worry about a drop unless it drops. I'm monitoring about, if I'm monitoring 50 keywords, I don't worry about drop unless I'm drop down under like more than like 100 drops on Google, because some little drops are natural.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, you have given me a lot of stuff to do today. I'm going to I'm going to reword our service page. I'm going to crank out at least 3 blogs. And how would you recommend scheduling those? Would you do those, at what type of frequency?
Typically, what I recommend is it is more important to have consistency than quantity. And so like once a week would be great. in general, what most people do is twice a month. And so I would say most of us should be doing at least twice a month. I will tell you temporarily, because the state of the world, my practice didn't directly follow my advice. So we are currently for at least 3 weeks doing 2 a week. And we're able to maintain it for at least 3 weeks. I think we'll probably maintain it a little bit longer than that. And then after that, we'll be able to keep doing the twice a month that we've been doing.
Yeah. Okay.
But you know, it is because SEO is a long-term game. It is really important that if you write 6 blog posts, you don't post them all today and say done.
Yeah.
Forever now.
Yeah.
But that, you know, so for most people, I would say if you write 6 blog posts, post them to go up once every other week for 12 weeks over that. Now, in your case, you have a whole team like I do. Like the reason I'm able to do twice a week is because suddenly my staff is much more motivated.
I'm hoping mine are too.
So I have a couple of team members who have like cranked out some awesome ones, and they know, like, we've had conversations like, you're going to write it and I so appreciate it. In fact, like, I'm going to take care of you for it, but we will make changes to optimize for SEO, and I don't want any feelings getting hurt over it. And luckily my team has been really good about understanding that we are going to add some subheadings, we're going to add some keywords in there. They can pick out the photos. I will send them the stock photo site that we pay for it and say, you know, pick out the stock photos, but then I get to tell you how many photos I'm going to have, and I'm going to do stuff with them. I'm going to add some local references, because especially when we're talking like telemental health too, you want to add references to local things and help Google really get a clear picture of where you are, so that someone that searches for online counseling when they're sitting in Somerset, you show up. And if they search online counseling and they're sitting in Columbia, Missouri, like, I mean, you really don't care if you show up.
Yeah.
And so doing, so my staff know, like, you write the blog posts, don't be offended. We will make changes. And that's just a promise that I'm making to you. We will add at the bottom some links to other pages on the website. We'll reference the blog post you wrote last week, and link to it. And so they have to have some willingness to be okay with all of that too.
Yeah. Cool. That's so helpful. Well, you've got me pumped up. I'm fired up and ready to go.
I'm excited to work on the pages when they're ready.
I know. Listen, they will be ready in any minute. It will not take long. I will get them ready for you. So what I'll do is I will just post your website. I'm not sure where I'm going to stick this video. I'm going to stick it in multiple places. I'll put it online. I'll probably embed it onto my consulting website. I'll probably stick it on Mindset Partners. If you have any other ideas of where you want me to stick it, let me know. I will. But I really think the information is super helpful. And for all of us that just feel like we have to be doing something, this is, I think, a really good thing to do.
And I think too, you know, it's something that'll set us up for the long haul, because people will always need counseling. They may pause it, but they will need it and they will come back. And so if right now we can be focusing on our systems, whether that's SEO or maybe you have something, maybe your financials are a mess and you need to be thinking about profit first and learning that. I don't know. But for a lot of us, I think the SEO is a good one to be focusing on, so that when people start searching again for counseling, they will be searching online, because that's where people will be looking. And if you could show up, then you're going to be able to get those clients and bring them in your door. And I know from my practice, that's been really beyond valuable.
Right. I agree. Yeah. I talked to several people yesterday, and they all kind of seem to have the same message as, you know, you have to do what you need to do right now, but this is also a perfect opportunity to be doing the things that are going to impact your business in 6 months from now, so that you may not reap the rewards immediately as much as you want to, but in 6 months from now, you're going to feel the fruits, or see the fruits of all of your labor. So
I made a list of the things that I need to clean up. And honestly, one of them is I want to rewrite a few of my service pages. The problem is they're ranking so well that, like, I've had no motivation to do it. They're working, they're bringing in clients, but I know that I've learned so much. I've read StoryBrand like 4 times since I've read it. Like, I want to rewrite them so that they maintain all their SEO value, but then I'm just, I don't know, sounding the way that I want to sound. And so, you know, I have this list, and some of it, we don't know how long we'll have this new normal, but I have a list of things that I know I will give me some control, and I know that I need to be working through, and they will set my business up for success, as long term.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Well, thank you so much for spending your Saturday talking about websites. I'm sure. I'm sure you're like, oh, I don't want to talk about that anymore.
I'm
But we
still
appreciate it.
where I'm like, yay, I have something, like there,
Yeah.
we've done so many online counseling websites in the past
Yeah.
week. And I was on a call earlier and coming up, and like they had a slightly different take on it. I'm like, yes, how quick can I for this person? And so I think that I don't know, it's fun to be able to do something right now that will
Yeah.
benefit businesses long term.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I appreciate it, and you just let me know if there's anything that you want me to stick in any of the subtitles or anything that I do. But I'm gonna have fun sticking this video in every possible platform that I can find to stick it in.
Let's get word out there. Let's help people
Yeah.
see what they can do.
Cool.